All right, hi folks. This is our last tech talk of 2024. I'm super excited about getting to know the Treehouse team. As folks that are watching might be aware, Treehouse is our oldest partner. Leanna's correct us if I'm wrong, but we have multiple scholarships, and I believe Treehouse is our oldest partner
Yes, it
um,
is.
for scholarships. So I'm super excited to welcome Christian Wu and Laura. I believe you're from the Treehouse team as well.
Yes, I am. Hi.
Awesome. All right. I'm gonna let you guys take it away. I made you co-host, so you should be able to share your screen too.
Amazing.
So for folks listening, I'm the executive director, Cynthia Ko. I've been with Operation Code for 5.5 years now, almost going on 6 years. I am a tech founder. I'm also an Air Force veteran and the mom of a service disabled Army veteran. So I'm really excited to hear what the tech degrees are all about. Let's get people using them because that's like our newest scholarship outreach effort, and then we want to make sure that folks know what does it entail, what are the different tracks, how do I use this platform, all of those good things. So take it away, Christian.
Awesome. For all of you who don't know, my name is Christian. I'm the client success manager at Treehouse. And we also have Laura joining. Laura, want to talk about yourself a little bit?
Oh, hi everyone. My name is Laura Cornell. If you do take the tech degree, you'll see me. I am one of the JavaScript teachers there. So I'm also in charge with all the content and all the teachers at Treehouse.
Amazing. I'm going to share my screen and then we'll go over kind of what Treehouse is as a brief overview and then dive into what the tech degrees are. So, thank you everyone for joining for this presentation tonight. Again, my name is Christian Wu and I'm excited to introduce you to the Treehouse platform. So Treehouse is an online learning platform. It has about over 1.2 million learners throughout our beginning since 2012. And it's really about making tech education accessible for everyone. And one of our biggest mission is to bridge the gap between formal education and the on-demand job requirements, as well as diversifying the tech industry and empowering learners to learn on an alternative pathway. And being part of Operation Code, being part of their ecosystem of learning platforms, we're really happy to also be trusted by thousands of other libraries across the United States and even some across the globe. To really kind of break down what Treehouse offers as a big overview, we have over 1,000 hours of content, and it's all interactive browser based, so you never have to leave the browser itself. Everything's all self-encompassing. We also have a dedicated forum and Discord server where you can ask all the questions, have people who've gone through different courses, even the tech degrees, and our fellow developers are on there to also support you in every step of your journey. Like I mentioned, learning can take place from any computer. We prefer laptops or computers. iPads can get a bit finicky, so try to do it on a laptop because you will be, if you're doing the programming, coding a lot. You also have access to a dedicated client success manager that can answer any of your questions and issues that arise if it needs to be handled. We also offer, on top of what Operation Code does, personalized workshops from our community managers and instructors, where we talk about how to transition from your past experiences into a tech role or tech adjacent roles, or how to even utilize your portfolio as ways to really enhance your resume. And then for those that have little ones, we are also trying to kickstart a kids coding club where we are offering curriculum for kids as young as 8. So those are all things that are coming from the Treehouse product line. And then as part of Operation Code, we do offer a veteran discount that starts at $15 a month.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah,
So, does somebody already have to have a Treehouse license in order to, if they have a kid that wants to join the Kickstart program, do they have to already be a licensed member of Treehouse?
that's
Or
a
would,
good. Good question. If they don't have a Treehouse account, they do need one to kind of start using it. It's part of like the whole membership package when you join Treehouse.
Okay. And then the other question I have is, do you have a specific preferred operating software or it's just like
Ooh.
browser based?
It's all browser based. I personally have no issues when I'm using on Chrome or Firefox.
Okay.
Laura, do you think is there a preferred operating system or web browser that you think is optimal?
Uh, we do our cl courses so that anyone on Windows or Mac can follow along with the course. So, course base, type of laptop doesn't matter. Uh, Web browser, I've seen some finicky things happen with Safari, but if usually the big ones, Chrome, Firefox, oh, they're pretty good to use. I just favor Chrome. I haven't had an issue with Chrome.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Any other questions?
And the other thing is some people, because this is specifically for our scholarship program.
Yes.
Some people attending may not be military members. They may be joining in that are civilians that aren't going to be eligible for the scholarship. So folks that are new to Operation Code, our scholarship program is free for active duty, National Guard, reserves, veterans, and military dependents. So whether you're a spouse, a child, or any other dependent, we do have those scholarships that are free for you. If you're joining, you're a civilian, you're an ally, or you don't fall under one of those military designations, there is a specific discount that you can use. And I think Christian will go over that.
Yes, we'll go over that later. Um, great, great overview of what this is all about. Any additional questions before I continue? Awesome. So kind of like a brief overview of kind of what our libraries use. This is I'm using libraries as an example because they're our biggest clients. I kind of want to, they do a good showcase of what different courses offer. These are some examples of if you know nothing about computers, from, the basics of what a terminal is to writing your first line of code. We have courses that goes all the way back to the initial learning to courses that will make you a pro on building and designing a full-fledged website. So these are the types of courses you can expect on Treehouse. And really quick kind of understanding of why our courses are designed the way they are is they're designed to be online. They're designed to also be fast tracking for in-demand jobs. The biggest in-demand job right now is in the machine learning and AI industry. That's just been an explosive growth the past 2 years ever since ChatGPT launched. And that's been paving the way for really developing individuals who are very strong in Python to learn about machine learning and artificial intelligence, which kind of really helps us as at Treehouse because our courses are very easy to understand. They're simple. They're very interactive. You don't need to install anything else. Everything's there so that you feel comfortable at the get-go, and then slowly develop the mentality of when it gets hard, there's all these resources out there. You have all these different community members supporting you, and you can start navigating the world of what it means to be a programmer slash developer, etc. And then if you're one that really loves to be competing against yourself, there's also badges and leaderboards that you can really join and be a part of. So now this is the big bulk of our presentation is what is a tech degree bootcamp and what does it mean to be needing advanced learning? So all tech degrees that Treehouse offers is we say advanced learning because take you in from the beginning of you knowing nothing about a certain topic. And by the time you go through a tech degree program, you should be advanced enough where you're able to apply to entry level roles. And entry level roles, when we say that term, really does encompass the time you are actually in the program as well as the time it takes you to finish your portfolio pieces and projects. So those do count as time of experience for some jobs that, we always see entry levels like 3+ years. Your projects do count as time as well, especially for tech roles. Kind of getting to the nitty-gritty of tech degrees. This is a self-paced boot camp. It is one of the, I would say, more robust boot camps out there that is self-paced, but you also have access to our dedicated and moderated community on Slack, where that's only for tech degree students, where you have access to our developers to answer any technical questions that you have. They're also going to be the ones grading your projects, so you do get real life human being feedback, unlike some other boot camps where an AI does it for them. So that's something that is differentiating us from them. It's also very engaging in terms of when you do get stuck or when you do need a moment of like, oh crap, I need to ask this questions. You have both the Slack channel that I mentioned before and also our dedicated Discord channel where it's open to everyone. So everyone who might have knowledge can answer you. And then on the Slack channel, you have dedicated people who have gone through the program or are the developers themselves answering your questions. We do have 5 unique boot camps that I'll go into. You'll see in the next few slides, they're only going to be images. And there's a reason why I want to do that because when I say these different bootcamp tracks, it doesn't mean anything until you know the context behind it. So before I move on, are there any questions about Treehouse and the tech degrees? Awesome. So front-end web development, I want you to think of it as like building parts of a house. It's a very big umbrella term that enables the learner to understand what it means to build the doors, build the windows, organize the rooms. It's all about making your website look pretty. And think of it as you're decorating a picture book. You have these blank outlines and you're picking the colors, you're picking which shades. That's all front-end web development. You have to use programming language like HTML that kind of shapes the structure of your house. And you have CSS, which is like the decoration for the house. And then you have JavaScript, which is like adding fun surprises within a house. Oh, the kitchen door swivels instead of just sliding, or the kitchen sink has a garbage disposal. Like those are all different types of features that JavaScript enables on a website, which is like the fancy like hovering of over text, or a lot of famous websites use like the scrolling images when you scroll through the galleries. That's all front end web development. Those are people dedicated to just making the website look pretty and making you stay on the website as long as possible, which is really great for marketers, businesses that are selling stuff. I'm going to stop here for front end web development. Are there any additional questions about this track? Actually, I'll probably look at the chat too. All right. If it comes up, feel free to type it in the chat or unmute yourself. Either way works. So
We have a
full stack.
question.
Oh, we have a
Sorry.
question. All right.
Yeah. What front-end languages does it focus on? I guess that's it.
So great question. There's 3 major languages that it focuses on. It kind of, when we say front end, it's a combination of all 3, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Um, so when you're saying React and Vue, those are all more of like a full stack type of
They're a
developer,
framework.
their
Yeah.
framework. So those are more of the advanced. So advanced, I would say, techniques for a website, for a full-on website. That kind of goes into our next track, which is the full stack, which is what you're trying to get to, Jeffrey, which is what does the front end user see? This is the part where people react with the buttons, with the forms, with the pictures. Is usually built using JavaScript. And then you have behind the scenes, which is the back end. This is what you're talking about with like React, Vue, Node.js. These are the things that are kind of like the kitchen of the house where you're storing important things, where you're developing all the things that work together. And then you have the storage room, which is oh, that's an extra bullet, which is the like the database. It's think of it as the cookbook for a recipe. You have all these different things that you have knowledge of, and the database takes care of everything. When you sign up for an account, it stores it in the database for it to be used. So that's what a full stack JavaScript developer does. Any question there, or Laura, do you have any additional comments about that?
Yeah, I was just gonna include for Jeffrey, in our full stack, we do teach React. I actually updated our React content, I think last year or the year before that. So the React content is up to date and we focus on React with the full stack JavaScript. Front end is more for really, really beginners who know zero code. So we just teach them the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's what our main focus is. And then full stack, you can also take multiple tech degrees. You don't have to just take one. But like once you're done with the front end, you can take the full stack uh, and yeah, get a little refresher and then learn how to do backend stuff. But full stack JavaScript is where React comes in.
We had a question recently of
Hmm.
a member, not about the scholarship itself, but somebody was asking, do you guys see folks using Angular anymore? Because it used to be like super big, and then all of a sudden it started fading out.
Yeah. Sorry, Christian. Do you mind if I take that?
Take it, please.
No worries. Yeah, we used to teach Angular, but then React started coming and everything's React. And when I go on LinkedIn, I don't see so much Angular anymore. I see a lot of people asking for React developers. So that's why we focus. We want to focus on what the industry is requesting
Mhm.
because our goal is to get people from no coding to job ready. So I believe we might have some in the library. I haven't looked into it. I don't know if we retired it, but we can take a look if that is something you guys are interested in.
Yeah, same with Ruby. Ruby is starting to like there's still a lot of frameworks using Ruby, but it
Mhm.
seems to be kind of not as popular as it used to be a few years
Ye-
ago.
Yeah, React is very much skyrocketing right now, and Next.js, which
Mhm.
pairs well with React. Uh, but yeah, Jeffrey, I just saw in the chat. Okay, I've been a Java backend mostly for the last 18 months. Yeah, our backend, I think we mostly focus on JavaScript, which is Node.js. But I'm sure if you know how to implement your Java background, you can incorporate that with your front end skills that you will learn from our tech degree.
Amazing. Any additional questions? Cool. So moving on to Python development. Um, for those of you who don't know what Python right now is like probably becoming or is one of the most popular programming languages out there in the world, mainly because of the ease it is to write it. It's also one of the biggest building blocks for a lot of machine learning. So it enables you to start building apps from the basic Pong type of games to very robust applications like a chat AI bot or anything you can think of. Python it can be the foundation for it. It's also used in a lot of machine learning and AI. It's probably the language that a lot of these companies are using as the foundation of what programmers they're looking for. And then they kind of specialize out. When you learn Python development or Python programming, it sets you up to be a good versatile programmer because you can easily jump into Java, jump into all these more specialized um, programming language like Rust to really understand how the syntax and how the programming languages work. So that's why a lot of people learn Python first. It's also used in data sciences and analysis. Those are two different fields. Data science all about understanding how large data sets can tell a story, and you use Python and algorithms and part of SQL to really understand the data sets. Analysis is the storytelling of the data sets. How can you persuade someone to kind of do what you need them to do with large amounts of data? And you're analyzing the data, looking for trends. So that's part of what Python development is. Our Python course is probably one of our most popular boot camps, and it has a lot of different projects that kind of makes you learn different aspects of what Python programming can do. I'll stop there. That's a lot of information. Are there any questions or comments, or if Laura, you have any additional things to add?
Think you got it.
All right. So data analysis, kind of going over what I did in Python, is all about these manipulation of data, right? We have this track because data analysis is becoming a very popular entry level career to get into that has a tidal wave of open career prospects once you have a few years under your belt. You can become a data scientist. You can become a cybersecurity analyst. It's like a stepping stone for all these um, different career paths or pivots within the realm of data. It's all about collecting data, organizing it, and really understanding what patterns are are being told. And then, like I said earlier, it's all about the storytelling and how to help people decide, or to persuade them into thinking about something. And it's a really great career to go into if you're highly analytical, you like numbers, and you can think quantitatively about large data sets that can tell a story. If you're more, not number focused, this could be I would say, a terrible track to go into because you will be staring at numbers for 8 hours, 10 hours a day. So I don't suggest going into this if you're not fond of numbers. That's my only heed as a former math teacher. If you don't like numbers, don't go into data analysis.
I have a personal story. Apparently I'm good at math, but I hated it in high school because I would get bored. But I am definitely that storyteller. And
hmm
I'll share something that like a lot of folks in tech are fearful of, which is, hey, the developer or traditional programming role is maybe harder to get into when you're a newbie.
hmm
And one thing is data analysis and data science is found in every single field, every single industry. It's not just traditional tech. So if you work in healthcare, if you are in a business development or business analyst, right? Business analysts love to use data, and marketers, communications people, product people, you're going to be using data to prove whether your product works, what your users are doing. If you're doing a ton of research, right? What are you doing an epidemiological study, like large data sets that tell a story, and then visualization. So like if you love visualizing data, you can really take those numbers and make it pop. It's all about like how are you using those numbers? And to me, I didn't realize that it wasn't that I was bad at math. I just was missing the connect the dots.
hmm
And as soon as I was able to like connect the dots to a story and to a purpose or to a mission, that's when like everything just clicked for me. So just a side little note there, just in case people are interested in this field.
It's very true. What Cynthia said about it being an airy facet of any industry, you will always need someone to analyze data, and you don't have to be in what we call big tech to be a data analyst or data science. All fields need it, and it's always growing because there's not enough people studying it. Awesome. And the last one is UX design. So UX design
I think the screen is frozen.
is it frozen?
I only see data analysis.
Oh gosh. Let's see. Let me reshare. Um, Here we go. Can we see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. UX design or user design or user experience design is think of it as like the psychology of how much enjoyment you're getting from an experience on the web or on an app. It is the people, if you are the person who loves understanding how a user's journey is for a certain app, a platform, a product, this is all about you. This is the person who loves doing the user interviews, doing the qualitative studies about how does this app make you feel? How does it do you feel angry when you click on this button? Like there are very weird questions that tap into psychology of what makes an app or a product the way it works. That's what a user experience designer does. They also plan the experience for you. Whether you like it or not, when you enter a website for the first time, that's been thoughtfully planned out by someone who has experience in UX design, where they're really analyzing where should the button placement be for sign up? Should it be a bigger, redder? Why does the color matter? Why do we want to click on red instead of black, etc. They're using the psychology of many different fields to really help cater the brand's experience to you when you click on their app, the website, etc. And a lot of people who go into UX design, they're looking for ways to make the journey for a user flow easily. What that means is, are you able to sign up easily? Are you able to click on sign up, go to this website, go to this web page, and do all these different things seamlessly without ever thinking that you're clicking too much or you're scrolling too much? And they are probably one of the backbones of what makes design really pop. They are the backbones of almost any company who cares about the brand and how people are seeing it. It's partly why there are some iconic websites that when you think of like a major shoe brand, a name pops up right away. Their user experience individuals have made it so that you remember it without even having me saying the brand name. So that's a user design. Our bootcamp trains you on how to make people happy using products, and it trains you how to think about the idea that goes behind a thoughtful website. So UX designers usually work in conjunction with front-end developers or full stack developers and kind of understanding how the layout of a website or the layout of a application should be through a lot of user testing, user interviews, etc. I think I did a good job explaining that. What do you think, Laura?
I think you did great. Yeah.
Are there any questions about UX design? Awesome. So now the question is like, why should I go into a Treehouse tech degree when I can just do any of the courses without having to do, more of the intensive work? So the way that Treehouse tech degree is formatted is that it's a linear progression of skills, very much like math, where you have to learn ABC. A lot of the programming, technical information for tech degrees is also very linear in the foundation. Once you understand the foundation, you can start branching out. And that's what makes our tech degree really good. It sets you up for a very strong foundation. So beginners who have no coding experience, no prior knowledge, can easily within the first 10, 15 hours become very comfortable and thinking like a Python developer, thinking like a UX designer, thinking like a data analyst. And we have a lot of practice examples and assessments to really test your knowledge. It's very similar to if you've done other boot camps before, they do have like the quizzes, the assessments, the projects. Ours are very similar but they're streamlined to a point where if you get stuck, there are all these different instant methods for you to get support, whether it's asking a question right there and then at the form below your video or going onto Slack or Discord. Another thing that's really cool is when you submit your unit projects, so each tech degree has X amount of units going from 5 to I think 9. I'm not sure the numbers, depending on the tech degree, where the projects themselves are graded by developers on the Treehouse staff. And also you can get peer review feedback from peers within the same tech degree. That's what, in my opinion, makes it a very strong boot camp because you're getting more than one perspective on your projects and portfolio pieces, which is going to give you valuable insights on how you can talk about your projects, your coding, your portfolio pieces, etc.
Yeah, it's also my favorite because peer review, I believe, is like the best way to learn because you see how someone else, like you can actually peer review someone else's project. So you can see how someone else answered that same project, see how their thinking is differently. And also, usually when you start a job, you're mostly working on existing code. So knowing how to read existing code is a really great skill. Sorry. I love peer review, so I like to plug that in whenever I have a chance.
And then the exams are graded, but don't think of the grade as like, oh my gosh, I didn't get a good grade. It's all about the mastery of what is industry standard when our developers look at the project themselves. So they're grading it against the industry standard of what is considered acceptable, not based on like, oh, we didn't like the way you wrote this. It's really more about does the cohesiveness of your project make sense? Did you use um I would say mindful techniques that you've learned up until then to really create your portfolio piece? Kind of like I know I'm saying this a lot, but the live support is it's what's really fun about the tech degree. It's very lively. You see a lot of students chatting with each other, and what Laura said, like them talking ab the more you talk about whatever you're learning, whether it's programming, Python, data analysis, or UX user design, the more comfortable you are in changing your mindsets to shift into that mode when you are in those interviews with a potential job. It's training you how to speak the language in a way that you're comfortable speaking in. And again, we do have full-time staff on Treehouse in the community supporting you. There's also tech degree graduates who have gone through our program and have still stayed within the community because that's how much they love it, and it gives them a chance to give back to the community. And you can also um, look them up and see if they can refer you to their new position in the tech industry. We've seen that happen quite a bit where a lot of people's like, hey, I'm nearing the end of my boot camp, and let's say I'm front end. This other graduate will probably say, our company's looking for someone. Let us interview you. So you have those in internal networking opportunities there as well. Kind of going back, we monitor everything in terms of just keeping a safe space and really catering our information that best serves you. And then we also have our dedicated career advisor, which is also our community manager, who does how do you prepare for a technical interview? What do you need to do? How do you revamp your resume? So these are all things that are included in a tech degree that you may not get just doing it by yourself. And I just want to end with this, which is a kind of, I would say, the North Star of what we like to see. Um, so Melina did this, she loved it, and now she's working I'm not sure what company she's at anymore, but she is working professionally and has shifted out of her previous career into tech. I'm going to stop there and open up for any questions.
I have a question. I'll kick it off, and then
Hmm.
while folks are thinking things over, I guess each track has their own different length, right? So I guess it
Yes.
depends. And is it like self-learning, or are they structured? Like once you begin in that cohort, you basically have to like every week there's something due, or how does that work? Because I know with other online platforms, you can pause it. I think Coursera, Leannis, I believe the Google certifications are pretty strict. Like you're not talking to a live person, it's like pre-recorded. But we've had some folks where work during the day got involved and they were like late submitting something and then they ended up
Mm.
booted out of that module and they had to start all over.
I think Laura can speak better to that than I can.
Oh yeah, this is your own pace. There is no deadlines, there's no time base at all. Just do whenever you can. I am actually one of the people who took a tech degree, made a whole career change. I used to be working at this company that wanted me to work 60 hours a week. So I'm glad I made the change. But yeah, I took the tech degree on my own pace. I had a full-time job. I was planning a wedding and it was the pandemic. Um, I was so whenever you have the free time, whenever you can put those hours in, there's no strict timeline. It's basically whenever you have the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you do want to like set a fast pace for yourself, the shortest amount of time we can do, I think the Python tech degree is like 3 or 4 months. If you do invest like full-time hours on it, I think you can finish the whole tech degree in 3 to 4 months. But I don't suggest that. It's a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, I say the same thing to folks at Operation Code when they're trying to do a a regular coding boot camp and, some sort of an online degree. Like it's not the pace, it's really being able to absorb the material, fully translate that material into a project and execute and implement a project on your own.
Hmm.
And imagine like if it takes 4 to 5 years to fully be considered fluent in a human language, right? It could take shorter for programming language, but you have to be fully immersed. You really have to kind of give yourself that time to be in that world and speak that language daily.
100%. And one of the things just from my own teaching background is that because programming does improve the more you do it, if you are not consistently programming in your language, it makes it harder on yourself to continue a boot camp if you're not giving yourself the dedicated time to really write and answer the exercises. It's one of those things where the more you do it, the better it feels naturally. Um, you can't just like I'll do it once a week. It won't work that way for programming because you're gonna be going back over and over to the same type of exercises and still kind of end up at the same result where I don't know what I'm doing and then kind of get defeated. So dedicate a lot of time. When I say a lot of time, 15 minutes a day, like solid focus time. I'm gonna try this exercise for 15 minutes. You're coding, you're making errors, you're finding support, you're Googling things, you're using ChatGPT to help you. Like immerse yourself in all of that because that's gonna train your brain and your fingers to type in the programming language.
I also just wanted to note in the chat, I just shared two videos. They should be free, so you don't need a Treehouse account to view them, but it's a deep dive into all the projects in our top two most popular tech degrees, which is Python and the full stack JavaScript. Um, if anyone's curious to see like exactly what are the projects, what are you building, what are you learning, we made two videos. We set them free so anyone can see them. You don't need an account. Um, if you wanted to look more into that, if you're curious.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
highly recommend the tech degree. It has changed my life. I am one of those people who has jumped into the tech world and then I came back to Treehouse because I'm just like, I just want to give back. I'm really appreciative of the tech degree. Like, I'm the type of person who's like, just tell me what to learn. There are people out there who just want to learn a bunch of different things. That's why we have courses subscription, but I'm more of a tell me what to learn, when to learn, how to learn it. And then I also love the projects because it just tests and made sure, all right, I actually understood what I just learned that unit before moving on and learning more. So instead of just like filling your brain with a bunch of things and then forgetting it all, it's kind of like a little test each way throughout the tech degree.
Perfect. And I guess if nobody else has any questions, we can probably end early. And then Christian's email is also here, Christian at
Mhm.
teamtreehouse.com if you're interested and you have any other questions. If not, you can also email Operation Code at staff at operationcode.org. Sorry, is it almost did .com, but we're a .org. If you hit it, if you type .com, it won't go to us. So operationcode.org. And if you're interested in the scholarship, please apply either on our website or you can also DM Leannis on our Slack if you're part of our Slack community. I'm going to put our Operation Code website in the chat. It's Operation Code, for those of you watching after the fact, operationcode.org/join if you're not part of our Slack community. And you'll get all of the reminders and scholarship announcements. Once you get accepted to the scholarship program, you get added to a private scholarship channel for all the recipients. The only thing we do request is that you're actively using. So like Christian said, we're going to be monitoring like that you're actively using this license because it is paid for. So we want to make sure that it's your best chance of success and that the license is actively used. And then you submit like a learning form. I think it's once a quarter, right, Leannis? We used to ask them for once a month, but I believe it's once a
Yeah, once a quarter. Yep.
yeah, and
Every
you get a
quarter. Yep.
reminder to just fill it out.
Yes.
If you don't fill it out, you'll get a little bit of a, hey, how's it going? Reminder. And
Yeah.
active. So I think if you go inactive, you lose if once you lose the ability to access your license, not only do you lose the ability to go back to where you started, like you're going to lose your spot, right? And then anybody on the wait list, that's the priority for that next person. And then you're ineligible for scholarships for a year. So
Yep.
take it seriously because people are donating money for you to use the scholarship. Well, thank you so much, Christian and Laura, for joining us. I'm excited to see how many members are going to be starting to use the tech degrees. We'll check back in with you in the new year, but have a wonderful holiday.